everyone, welcome to YourPedia and this is Shubhya. So I'm heading on the series of high frequency words, already covered 160 till now, and now I'm starting from 161 onwards. It's a list of just 10 high frequency words. Don't forget to make your notes. Keep an extra copy, I can say, keep an extra notebook where you can use or you can see utilize these words. Even the sentences which I provide you in my PPTs and my, you can say, the way I make you learn, please go and practice those sentences also. The more you speak, the more you practice, the more perfect you become. So let's get started with the next series of high frequency words. Now, today we are going to learn some of the very important words. First is confer, confound, connoisseur, connote, console, consolidate, constrict, construe, contentious, and contextualization. Some of the words you might hear and you feel like these are very easy words. Now get to its proper, you can say, the definition, what does it mean and how to use it in a sentence. The extract is taken from, you can say this is extract of Manhattan, and we are covering from 161 to 170. Let's get started with the very first word. It is confer. What do you mean by confer? Confer means to discuss something. When I am trying to discuss something, that is to confer. To, you can say, present with, you're awarded with, you're accorded with, you're granted with, you're bestowing on something, to discuss something, that is to confer. How you mean use it in our sentences? The committee will confer with the stakeholders before making a final decision. The committee will discuss. The committee will have to discuss, or you can say with the stakeholders. The scientists will confer about the research findings before publishing their paper. So scientists will discuss with each other. That is paramarsh karna. Paramarsh karna kya hota hai? Discuss karna, to have opinions of other people, that is to confer, right? So first was confer. Confer means to discuss with the other person. Next you have is confound. What do you mean by confound? Confound means when you are confused, when you're frustrated, when you're making the things worse. So that is your confound. So confound, you can say con and it is fuse. Remember some hacks how to learn it. Confer, okay. So it was confound. It is like you have this word confuse, when you're making the situation worse. That is confound. How to use it in a sentence? To mix up or confuse, the magician confounded the audience by making the rabbit disappear. And the people were fascinated how the rabbit actually vanished. So that is भ्रमित करना, किसी को धोखा देना, or something like this, to confuse करना. The unexpected rain confounded the plans for the outdoor picnic. In the morning it was sunny and all you can say, all of a sudden it started raining. So it is like confound means भ्रमित करना, to confuse someone, right? Next you have is connoisseur. Connoisseur is a person who is very expert, who is with the very, you can say, good knowledge, high, you can say, knowledgeable person, and especially it is with the literary background, if I say. It is a person with, you can say, good in fine arts or something, you can say, in some refined task. So you can use it as expert or with the high knowledge, right? Specialist, judge, master. So that is your connoisseur. An expert of a particular subject, विशेषज्ञ, जिसे बोलते हैं ना विशेषता, हर चीज के बारे में knowledge होना, that is connoisseur. The restaurant critic is connoisseur of fine cuisine. Obviously you get the influencers and all that, and there is a restaurant critic also. That person has a good, you can say, approach, and he has a good expertise in checking out the taste of the hotels or restaurant. The art collector is a connoisseur of modern art, right? So someone who is expert. Next you have is connote. What do you mean by connote? Connote means to imply, to suggest, or you can say in addition of literal meaning. You are implying to something, you are signifying something, you are telling out something. So that is connote, right? So when you are denoting something, to imply something in addition of to what is added. कुछ चीज दिख रही होती है और उसके सिवाय कुछ चीजों को बताना, that is connote. अतिरिक्त मतलब लाभ रखना, or something like you can say is the information that is provided and you give more information than that. The color yellow often connotes happiness and warmth. The color red, you can say, connotes. What does it signify? It signifies, you can say, some kind of newly married person, if someone is wearing all red and all that. So there are connotation. Connotation means reference to something, right? So that is connote. Next you have console. Console, you already know that someone, you soothe it out, you try to relieve that person, you try to make peace with that person, or you try to reassure, encourage, consolation dena kisi ko, console, to share grief with someone, that is console. सांत्वना देना और something, कहते हैं ना हमदर्दी देते हैं जब हम किसी को, someone loses his parents or someone loved one dies. So we try to console that person. Okay, it's okay, don't get demotivated. We try to encourage that person. So to provide a person with comfort when he or she is struggling emotionally, someone is not happy emotionally and you try to help that person out. She tried to console her friend who lost her pet. Next is consolidate. What do you mean by consolidate? Consolidate means when you're trying to put the things together, when you're trying to unite the things, when you're concentrated, joining, and there's a kind of a collection. That is termed as consolidate, right? So it is to put the things together, मजबूत करना, चीज़ों को आपस में इकट्ठा करना. The company decided to consolidate its 2 departments into one. To put together कि दोनों departments को इकट्ठा करके एक ही बना देते हैं. That is to consolidate. Consolidate means to put together things into one. Next you have is constrict. What do you mean by constrict? That is to squeeze the size, to narrow the size. You're trying to limit its size. That is to constrict. Compact करना, किसी चीज़ को limit कर देना. That is constrict. To narrow or reduce. कहते हैं कस देते हैं किसी चीज़ को. The snake constricted its prey until it stopped moving. पकड़ लेना किसी को. And that too with a very, you can say, strong grasp. That is constrict. जकड़ना. Next is your construe. Construe means that is something to interpret, or you can say when you're trying to clarify it out कि मेरा मतलब ये था, मैं बताने की ये कोशिश कर रहा था. That is to construe. When you try to define something, when you try to interpret something, understand something, that is to construe. टीका करना or something to correct it out, to clarify what something means कि मेरा मतलब ये नहीं था, मेरा मतलब ये था. So that is to construe. The jury construed the evidence in favor of the defendant. The teacher helped the student to construe the meaning of difficult text. समझाना कि this vocabulary is not that tough. I'm trying to construe you out that if you make notes, if you revise it regularly, some of the words you will grasp and some of the words they are already in the MCQs only, it will be easy to get detect. Next you have is contentious. Contentious, you all know that it is when you are trying to, you can say, things into controversial. Contention में लेकर जाना, controversial चीज़ें. Antagonistic, quarrelsome, लड़ाई में पड़ना जान के. So that is contentious. Causing or likely to cause an argument. Vivadas, it's vivadas. But whatever is the meaning, I'm not so good. So it is like किसी को झगड़े में डालना, ठीक है, किसी argument को बढ़ावा देना. The contentious debate led to an argument between the 2 politicians. कहते हैं ना कोई भी एक चीज़ बोल देना उसको चिंगारी की तरह लगना. So that is contentious when you are trying to be with the fight with other person and someone gives you a very, you can say, bad or a humiliating argument. That person starts. Last is your contextualization or contextualize. So that is when you are trying to speak on the basis of some context, or you are trying to put the things in place according to some circumstance, according to some background. You are trying to consider the things, inspect the things, scrutinize, review. किसी चीज़ों को किसी context में explain करना. I'll try to put the things in proper perspective. प्रासंगिक करना बनाए. That is like to किस context में, अब बोलते हैं ना poetry के context में हम इसकी ये lines का meaning दे रहे हैं. According to situation when you try to explain something, that is contextualize. The historian contextualized the event within its historical you can say period. The literary critic contextualized the novel within the author's life and wants. So it is depicting according to a circumstance, that is to contextualize. Let's review, like these were all the words. अब ये था ना जकड़ना, what we had the word for that कि पकड़ लेता है कोई चीज़ किसी को, squeeze कर देता है. Constrict was the word for it, right? So here it is like trying to hold it out, the prey, it takes into this, right? तो वो क्या कर रहा है, उसको squeeze कर रहा है. Now let's revise all the words once again before we ended this video. Confer is to consult when you're trying to compare or you are trying to discuss something. किसी चीज़ पे discuss करना इसे बोलते हैं confer. Next you have is confound. Confound का मतलब क्या होता है? When you're trying to confuse out something. Connoisseur is someone with great knowledge. Connote is when you're trying to suggest or imply something. Console किसी की grief को कम करना, emotionally support करना. Consolidate is when I'm trying to unite or put the things together. Constrict is when I'm trying to squeeze the things, when I'm trying to reduce it out, that is constrict. Construe is when I'm trying to interpret something. Contentious is something that is controversial, and contextualize is when I'm trying to explain some situation based on a particular context, right? So that was all the 10 high frequency words have been done. Don't forget to download the PDF. Try this GIF round if you're able to solve it out. What does it mean? And this way, ultimately, keep making your notes, keep preparing for GRE with the high frequency words. Take care and have a nice day.